but instead Quintin is opting to go for 3 starports, 2 of which have reactors. So I thought maybe some battle cruisers, but with no tech labs, I don't see that coming. So I guess he's going to actually probably go for a bunch of medevacs here so that he can keep his bio ball alive. I mean, Quintin finally now is getting pretty low on the research. Look, he has no saturation whatsoever. Ever since that initial Zergling rush, he has gotten jack for saturation, and now xLeroy doesn't even have much. Finally getting some mules down back here, so Quintin is just struggling in the resource department. Meanwhile, it looks like Phobos is flying 2 planetary fortresses toward the upper base, and call me crazy, but I think he was going to do some sort of planetary fortress sneak landing attack. I don't know how this is going to work. Or is Phobos going to set up 2 planetary fortresses in front of this ramp and just sort of pin Quintin onto his side? And the Vikings coming out now, if they could intercept these, they could get some damage down. But it looks like these command centers are going to land. But he is going to see them. The Vikings are, that is. So I'm pinging. I'm not sure what the pinging up front is all about, but these command centers having to land now because there's 3 Vikings out and they have no support whatsoever. So it looks like Quintin, I mean, he was thinking, he saw the corruptors out, so then he knew broodlords were on the way, so he's getting those Vikings, which is a very good play. I made that mistake earlier, though, maybe going a little overboard here on the starports with reactors, because mass Vikings, if you know, I don't know how good these broodlords are going to be. Obviously the mass Vikings are going to hurt that, but there are some corruptors out for support, and Phobos sending 2 more command centers, and he's got 5 Ghost Academies. So I don't know what's going on. There's no nukes. I don't see. Does he have any? Does he even have any ghosts? He has no ghosts. Now getting 3 nukes. He has 3 nukes banked, but no ghosts. So this is quite a peculiar game. I will say I have never seen anything quite like the mass command center strategy plus broodlords. So this should, however, be pretty interesting because Quintin has quite a few Vikings now, and there's really no anti-air for this bottom team except for these few corruptors. So here we go. This is going to be a interesting here. The broodlords doing a ton of damage, just decimating this ball. The Vikings finally moving into action to try and support, firing away, just annihilating these broodlords. The corruptors not even turning around to fight, and they are just getting picked off too as these units retreat to what? There's 1 missile turret here, but now the Vikings stopping, taking out these corruptors fairly easily, and these broodlords are just sitting ducks right now. There's 1 missile turret, but he is going to be able to decimate these broodlords, just soaking up the damage from the missile turrets. No problem. It's well worth the exchange, though he could be moving these Vikings a bit further down here to finish off these broodlords, and that's what he's finally going to be doing here. So Quintin actually doing a nice job of pushing back these broodlords, needs to finish them all off here, and it looks like that is going to happen. But he is having issues being pinned back in here. Now, Phobos has completely walled off this ramp with planetary fortresses and missile turrets. So if I were Quintin, I would start to think about maybe using this side route over here. I mean, I know that seems pretty obvious and all. These Hellions sort of keeping an eye on that back door on this side. Nothing at this watchtower, though, up this way. These Vikings are going to start scouring the map, going to likely find this expansion. No, they're going to turn down here to join their brethren in the bottom and possibly do some Viking harass in the back. There's not much to defend. If these Vikings come in and land back here, they could do quite a bit of damage, and it looks like that's what we're going to see here. No, the Vikings opting to stay in the air, possibly waiting for the reinforcements to come, so they are taking out these corruptors, and there's so many Vikings out right now. No upgrades on them, however, but really, I mean, jslocum has got to be thinking about some hydras or some infestors or something here to deal with this mass Vikings, and going to land these Vikings and start mowing this queen down and just plowing these drones so quickly. And are there any reinforcements? An Ultralisk Cavern is out, but is there anything? Is there any? Some Zerglings going to come in, and these are going to force the Vikings to lift off. Though they might have actually been able to kill all of that if they had stayed down, but instead opting to lift off and pluck off all these Overlords, just sitting ducks. This queen coming in, not going to be able to do very much, as these Vikings did quite a bit of damage on that attack. And if you see now, jslocum is severely supply blocked, so he is going to need to make a lot of Overlords. There's 3 more nukes coming out. And but what is he going to do with these nukes? I mean, what is Phobos doing here? This is almost just... These Vikings are just decimating the back of his base, and what can he do? He can't do anything, because all he has is a bunch of nukes and a few ghosts and a crap ton of planetary fortresses with more ghost academies. So I am foreseeing some sort of major nuclear holocaust coming soon, and he is going to nuke his own mineral line as the Zerglings are surrounding these Vikings. And is he going to cancel this nuke? Is he going to just let it go? He is, and these Vikings just sitting there, and boom goes all the Vikings except for this one poor little Viking. And so 1 nuke was used, 6 Ultralisks now on the way. So the tide appears to be turning in this game. More Vikings are out for Quintin, but what's he going to do with those Vikings at this point? I mean, he can do some more harassment. It's just that he's got to be able to somehow do some serious damage down here. And with the this setup is just, I'm sorry, this I've never seen anything like this. Not even bothering to at least steal some of these resources. I mean, you have this whole thing defended, you might as well start mining there. I mean, you know. So Phobos seemingly toying with Quintin at this point, as he does have this command center finished. I mean, Quintin, his resource, he has 3,000 and 2,000 banks. So I mean, spending a lot of time microing these Vikings and not a lot of time building anything. As you can tell from the production tab now, a single Marauder is coming out. So anyway, still at least an entertaining game, as these Vikings have been doing pretty well, taking out all these SCVs in this line. And Phobos again with no army. Here comes the Ghosts and the Ultralisks, and is he going to nuke his base again? No, just going to ward these Vikings off with all these Ultralisks. More Ultralisks coming out. The chitinous plating is just now finishing. So I mean, really, Phobos and jslocum toying with Quintin still here on the top team, and this game just sort of dragging on because really I just don't see how Quintin has any chance. I mean, he has no map control, and yeah, finally Phobos is actually going to start mining long distance, semi-long distance mining this middle area. And it looks like we are finally going to see the mass ghosts push out. With how many nukes does he have in the bank? 8 nukes, 8 ghosts, 1 nuke for every ghost. And here we go. This should be at least quite entertaining, as we are about to see some serious nuclear holocaust action from these ghosts. And there's some pinging these Vikings. I mean, there's not much that either of them can do about those Vikings at this point. These Ultralisks are just sort of stuck here. Finally, that supply depot getting lowered so they can get through out of the main, and they are going to run over here and try and deal with those Vikings. I'm afraid to stay on this fight here because I don't want to miss those ghosts, so I'm going to try and keep an eye on the nukes, and we're getting some lag. But here comes the Ultralisk, just going to sort of sit here and wait for these to land, which they are not going to be able to do with all these Ultralisks sitting here, though they are killing a ton of Overlords. And jslocum getting totally supply blocked again. And here comes the nukes. All of these nukes going down on the front door of Quintin. And this is and here comes the scan, though. Can he take out any of these ghosts? He is able to take out half of these ghosts going down, more ghosts going down, but the nukes were able to land. A few of them were. And now the front door is wide open for the Ultralisks to come running through. And here come the ghosts. Looks like they're going to go nuke the mineral line here. And this game, this is going to be GG. Somehow this drags on for 5 more minutes. I do not know how, because these Ultralisks are just going to be running right into these nuclear missiles. And I love to see the nukes. They're so hard to manage usually, at least for me. I find myself, when I go for nukes in team games, I find myself banking so many minerals because I'm spending so much time worrying about microing and keeping my ghost alive and cloaked and worrying about where all the detection is and all that. I mean, you can do a lot of damage with those nukes, but it's really tough, and you really got to remember to keep up on your macro in a normal game. I say a normal game because this game very one-sided, obviously, and now it looks like it's just going to be mess cleanup here from Phobos and from xLocum or jslocum. So I would normally say well played, but I mean, this strategy is just crazy. I've never seen anything like this, and they really didn't have to play that well to beat Quintin after his partner dropped at the very beginning. But it was an entertaining game nonetheless. And so thank you guys all for watching. If you have any good team game replays, email them to iristarcraft@gmail.com and I will cast the game for you. So that is it. And this is Irie Starcraft, and peace out.